Welcome back. In this lesson, the many meanings of, what is that symbol? Is that a minus? Is that a hyphen? Is that subtraction? We're going to be talking about how that actually has different meanings depending on what you're talking about. So the one is, it's a negative, a number that is simply less than 0. So we've been talking about these for a couple days. No shocker, something like -3, -9, both examples of that symbol meaning negative. But another application could be, it means the opposite, a number with the same absolute value but different signs or different distances from 0 on the number line. So we can talk about these in a pair. So for example, -7 and +7 are opposites. -2.5 and +2.5 are opposites. Same distance from 0 on the number line, but on opposite sides. The most familiar with you is probably as a subtraction symbol. It's the first way you interpret that. Subtraction means to take something away. So we can see this in the application of 4 minus 2 to give us 2, or 7 minus 1 to give us 6. But now let's actually go ahead and talk about this in the application of net worth. So let's define a couple terms first. Let's define debt. A debt is something that is owed, often money, represented as a negative number. An asset, however, is something that you own of value. That could be money, it could be cash, could be a house, could be some sort of investment. Something that you have that you own is considered an asset if it has value. Your net worth then is going to be the total assets minus the total debts. So if you take all the things you own that have value, subtract all the things you owe that have value, you'll get your net worth. So in this next situation, let's look at a celebrity's bank statement. It's a shocking new debt they find of $25,000. Which statement would give you their net worth, where W is their previous net worth? So if you look at situation A, they're adding something negative, adding -25,000, and in D, they're taking away something positive. Both of those will have a negative impact on the net worth, which kind of models the situation from problem 1. Letter A specifically is adding something negative, so like adding a debt. D is taking away something positive, so maybe like subtracting an asset, so maybe their car was stolen or something like that. So if we compare A and D, both of them are doing something bad, but which of them, as question 3 says, is a better match of the statements in question 1 where there's a new debt of $25,000? So A is slightly a better match because it's adding something negative, it's adding that debt. If you think about inside parentheses, it's a -$25,000. That -$25,000 is the debt. It's negative, but we're adding it on, something new that just came to be. So we want to go ahead and try to categorize these 4 statements as good or bad. We just said A is bad. B, however, does something good. B is where we are adding something positive. Clearly, that's one of the first situations that you ever encounter, adding positive numbers. C is also good because we're taking away something bad. Inside the parentheses is that -25,000, subtracting it, so that's good to get rid of it. And D is taking away something positive, so again, that's bad. So if we wanted to try to come up with a statement for each of these that kind of represents them, B, an asset was added to your net worth, makes sense. But A, it says like a debt was added to your net worth. That's going to be something bad. We can kind of identify that. In C, we're taking away something negative. So again, you think inside parentheses, it's like a -25,000. You're taking away from the net worth. And the subtraction sign outside of the parentheses, that is a situation where we're taking it away. And finally, in D, inside it's a positive 25,000, but we're taking it away. So that's why that is hurting our net worth. So a new situation, we've got a famous celebrity agent sends home, gets their statement that their net worth is $900,000. That's an outrage to them because they see this fraudulent charge from Visa of $320,000. If we want to write a statement for that, let's start with the $900,000 that they have, and how do we take that and make it into the amount of money that they should have? Well, we really want to take away this fraudulent or incorrect debt. So the first minus, subtraction, taking away, the negative inside the parentheses is really showing that it was a debt that we're taking away. So intuitively, you should kind of say, oh, we really need to add these two numbers together to get to our total net worth. So $1,220,000 should be the actual net worth. Another way to think about what to do with these double negative signs. If something is not false, it's true. Example from LA class. If we take away a debt, the net value increases. So here again, two negative signs in some expressions. We can rewrite this statement as these two minus signs becoming a plus sign. If you want to think about the one little minus sign flips over, kind of crosses with the other to make a plus sign. In number 10, we can say 8 minus negative 13 is 8 plus 13, and in number 11, negative 31 minus negative 8 is negative 31 plus 8. Okay, so let's look at a longer expression here. We've got 9 here. It's increasing the value of that expression. The 2 here, because there's a subtraction in front of it, is actually decreasing the value of the overall expression. The 6 is being added, so it's increasing the value of the expression. And the last number, the 3 there, is really being subtracted, so that's decreasing the value of the expression. So when we actually want to go ahead and kind of associate this, is the 9 is positive. There's no sign written in front this time, but we always interpret positive as being there. This 2, though, is really like a negative number, as is the 3. When there's a subtraction in front, we can consider the whole number to be really a negative. So in the next example, 8, increasing the value of the expression. There's nothing written in front, but we always assume a positive, nothing's written in front. Let's just go ahead and call this next number a negative 1. It is decreasing, it's like a debt. So we would write a debt as a negative 1, we can write that as a negative 1 as well. 3 is increasing the value of the expression, and then this is really like a negative 5 at the end, decreasing the value of the expression. So as you notice, I kind of circled that number in front, the sign in front. So 8 was kind of circled with that kind of space in front, kind of telling us that it's like a positive number. I'm going to do the same thing in these examples below. So nothing written in front of the 9, it's a positive. What's written in front of the 11? A minus sign or a negative sign. Remember, they have the same interpretation. So if we were to write this out with all these plus signs and minus signs, like we did earlier, all the 9 pluses are crossed off with 9 of the negative signs from the 11, but there's still 2 negative signs left over. So that's why this turns out to be a negative 2. We're really just kind of focusing on identifying what is the sign of each of these numbers. That's a positive 6, a negative 52, a positive 4, a negative 19. Skipping around, negative 7 and negative 12, both are negative. Negative 11, negative 2, both of those are negative. Negative 54, positive 4. So when you think about that, it helps you to identify what's happening here. But remember, if there's no sign written in front, the number is considered to be a positive.